Today in podcast number 3, let's talk about sleep. Wonderful sleep. Something that I have suffered with most of my life is the seemingly inability to get enough sleep, I suppose. I don't know if that's really, if we drill down, what the goal should be, of course, is to not get a certain amount of time of sleep, but to feel good, to get the optimal amount or quality of search for the perfect terms concerning sleep. We need to get the optimal quality of sleep to ensure our well-being. I've never heard put in those terms, but I think that's at least approximately correct. Usually when we talk about sleep, we talk about amount, but certainly quality matters. And so as I drive home today, let's talk about sleep, or I'm going to talk about sleep. So what do we need to get the optimal amount of sleep? Now, generally speaking, we like to talk about productivity and how we want to be as productive as possible in our time. I know that many people still think of productivity as work, and that's not necessarily what we're talking about here. We're talking about having productive lives, having lives where we get things done that we want to get things done, whether it is getting our kids through college, or making our wives' dream anniversary come true, or building a business, or selling our business, or just enjoying the time that we have, doing so in an optimal way. So how do we do this? We have closed the road here without telling anybody. Very nice. So I have literally just drove around in a weird circle because the roads are closed. So what does that mean to what we're talking about? So how can we look at productivity and sleep and make sure it makes sense for our lives? What we're doing makes sense. Well, we need to try to get good quality sleep in an amount that allows us to produce in a way we want to produce in an amount we want. So how do we do that? Well, let's look at our time. How much is our time worth? We've been working on these equations since podcast number 1 2 days ago. So you should have an answer, or some facsimile of an answer that resembles something, a number. If you don't know what your number is, let's just start off with 25 cents a minute. That's all you deserve because you don't know what your number is. It's 25 cents a minute. That's how much a productive minute of your life is worth. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, so anyway, so obviously sleep is an important part of our lives. It's a third or so of our lives. So getting more of it is not necessarily what we should be doing. Getting more sleep isn't necessarily the goal. Getting better sleep, yes. Getting higher quality sleep, yes. Feeling rested, feeling at the top of your game, yes. Having enough time so all the repairs that are required for your body and brain are complete, yes. All of those things, yes. So how do we measure all these things? That's too difficult for me to tell right now, especially since I'm closing in on home. But what we can do is work with our feelings, work with our goal, work with our measurements of productivity, and determine how sleep affects it. For many of us, even though we don't feel great, we are surviving off of 4.5 hours and being productive off of 4.5 hours. Now, yes, if you can squeeze in some more sleep and actually see those numbers rise, well, then great. That's what you need to do. If your quality of work goes up because you slept an extra half an hour, an extra hour, an extra 2 hours, then do it. Make it happen. Figure out a way to make it happen. But for some of us, the time increasing is just not possible, or not manageable on a consistent basis. I work different shifts than normal human beings, and so life happens around times when I'm not necessarily going to be awake if I try to force normal sleeping habits upon myself. So, what can we do? Let's talk about quick things to do to improve our sleep besides measuring the effect. So, we should always have some measuring effect of our productivity levels, whatever it may be. Keep an eye on it, think about it. Keep a diary. A lot of people like to keep diaries. I know it's added work. It's not something that we necessarily want as somebody's trying to merge in front of me very dangerously. One, and now we have number two right behind them. Oof. Anyways, sorry for that. Very dangerous. In a rush to get home. It is 2 in the morning. But anyways, so what can we do? We measure the effects that we're going to have by trying to improve our sleep. See if it is worth it. Is it worth it? An extra half an hour. Is it worth it? Getting a humidifier. Is it worth it? Getting a thing to dampening the color in the room, the amount of light in the room. Is it worth it to try this? Is it worth it to try that? In most cases, if you are productive at all, the answer will be irresolute. Is it time to buy a better bed? Well, if you sleep well on your bed, then no, you're probably okay. And now you're risking sleeping worse. But if you're not getting good sleep, there are lots of things to try. Lots and lots of things to see if any of them improve your productivity. So, things to try. The number one reason Americans have a hard time sleeping, I think based on a study from either Harvard, I think it was Harvard State, is allergies. Maybe John Hopkins. Allergies. Many allergy sufferers have a hard time sleeping, so maybe take an allergy pill. Maybe remove the allergens from the air. Find ways and things to do to reduce the effects your allergies have on your sleep. A lot of things to do. Change your sheets more often. Make sure your bed is clean. Your actual bed doesn't have dust mites and things like that can build up over time. Do lots of things to figure out how to improve your sleep. I said allergies is the number one. Number two, what can we do? I'm not looking at the number two reason. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But I live in an arid environment. You need humidity to sleep well. Well, most people in humid environment. So what I'm going to do is get a humidifier. But I'm not going to buy one of those cheapy humidifiers. I'm going to buy one that makes sure that I'm getting enough humidity. Something like 40 to 60%, I believe, is the ideal. At least that's the generic answer if you Google it, which is fine. We're not looking I'm not looking to set up a science experiment and determine what the actual perfect amount of humidity is. I'm going to get the humidifier, crank it up to 50 and see if it helps. If it helps at all, then I'll start fine tuning. What else can we do? Yes, we talked about putting the blackout sheets and things like that. Other things that you can do. Your routine. Your routine. Do you have a sleep routine to tell your body, hey, I'm about to go to. I start by what? Turning off my phones, TVs. I start by what? Maybe you take your allergy pill. Maybe you take your vitamin D. So you wake up. The worst thing you can do is take vitamin D. I don't know. Just guessing. But allergy pill. Maybe it's time to take your allergy pill before bed. Now, I take an allergy pill. I do sleep better. The unfortunate part, though, is I don't feel any better. I feel even more tired, even if I sleep longer. I said sleep better. I meant sleep. I sleep longer. I don't feel as though I'm sleeping better. If you're supposed to feel better when you wake up after sleeping 7.5 hours. 7.5 hours is a long, long sleep for me. I don't get 7.5 hours in any particular week. I might get it once or twice in a month, 7.5 hours. So when I get it, I notice, and even that 7.5 hours is partially broken up. So hydration. I told you I live in an arid environment. Maybe I drink a lot of water, because if I drink a lot of water, then I'm going to have to get up and go to the restroom at some point in the. So that's a tough one too. How do you ensure that you're hydrated? And still stay asleep. If you're waking up because you're dehydrated, maybe it takes time. Maybe like just like with the allergy pill, maybe it will take time. I'm guessing the time has not come yet. I am still groggy after any sort of sleep with allergy pills, and so I don't know if that's a solution. But I'm still trying. I'm trying every day. I'm trying new things. I'm experimenting. Not really. They're not really experiments because I'm not keeping to the scientific method as well as I should. There's definitely things you need to do if you want to call something an experiment. And yes, my wife has left the garage door open once again. This is unbelievable. Anyways, that's it. I'm at home. The end of this podcast. I do thank you for listening. I know that I ramble a bit, but I hope you found something informative out of this rambling. I'm going to go work on my sleep. Thank you.